In the high-stakes world of aerial combat, a grand illusion has been carefully crafted. It's a narrative whispered in the halls of power, echoed in defense industry boardrooms, and broadcast to the public. This story positions American fighter jets as the untouchable kings of the sky. They are presented as the only logical choice for any nation serious about its defense. This monolithic belief is reinforced by staggering budgets, slick marketing, and a powerful geopolitical machine. But what if this carefully constructed reality is beginning to crack? What if a challenger, born from a different philosophy, is exposing the deep fissures in this story of absolute dominance? This isn't just about planes, it's about a global power dynamic being quietly but seismically reshaped. The truth is far more complex than a simple tale of American superiority. Behind the headlines and the airshow displays lies a fiercely competitive landscape. Nations are not just buying a piece of hardware, they are buying into a long-term strategic partnership, a technological ecosystem, and a decades-long commitment of staggering financial and operational resources. The choice of a fighter jet can define a nation's sovereignty for half a century, and in this critical decision-making process, a disruptive force has emerged. It comes not from a global superpower but from a neutral Nordic country with a long history of independent thinking. This is the story of the Saab Gripen-E, a machine that represents a fundamental challenge to the established order. So what exactly is this aircraft that is causing such a stir in global defense circles? The Saab JAS-39 Gripen-E is a single-engine, multi-role fighter jet, developed by the Swedish aerospace and defense company Saab. The JAS designation itself tells you about its philosophy. JACT, which means fighter, attack, reconnaissance. It was designed from the ground up to be a true swing-role platform, able to do air-to-air combat, ground attack missions, intelligence-gathering sorties. This isn't a feature tacked on, it's the Gripen's essence. The Gripen-E is the latest, most advanced evolution. Not merely an upgrade, a fundamental redesign. It features a more powerful General Electric F-414 engine, the same family that powers the F/A-18 Super Hornet. Its airframe was enlarged to carry more fuel, extending range and persistence. The real revolution is its federated avionic architecture. Flight systems separated from mission and sensors. Schematic view. That separation lets Saab do rapid, cost-effective software and hardware upgrades without full flight code recertification. It counters the trend of rising complexity and cost. While F-35s dominate, the Gripen-E argues a different path, a smart fighter prioritizing network-centric warfare, advanced electronic warfare capabilities, supreme situational awareness over all aspect stealth, designed to see everything, jam its opponents, share data seamlessly with allied assets, and strike with lethal precision. All of that at significantly lower cost to procure, lower cost to operate. Built for austere operations, serviced by small teams of conscript mechanics, with basic tools, from dispersed or damaged airbases, even public highways. When you place the Gripen-E side by side with America's top exports, the F-35 Lightning II, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the differences in design philosophy become starkly apparent. The F-35 is the heavyweight champion of technology, built around all-aspect stealth and sensor fusion. Its very low observable design makes it nearly invisible to enemy radar, allowing it to penetrate heavily defended airspace. The Gripen-E does not prioritize stealth to the same degree. It focuses on balanced signature reduction, a world-class electronic warfare suite, and a powerful AESA radar and IRST. Gripen's philosophy: not invisible, but see and jam the enemy first. Let's talk sensors and data. F-35's Distributed Aperture System, DAS, plus Advanced Sensor Fusion give a god's-eye battlespace view. It's a closed, highly integrated system. Gripen-E approaches differently. AESA radar, IRST sensor EW system that also senses. Network-centric design fuses data from its own sensors, other Gripens, ground-based radars, and airborne early warning aircraft. It becomes a node in a wider network, sharing and receiving targeting data. Tactical data linking. It's a choice between having a silver bullet or having a full magazine. A powerful mythos surrounds American fighter jets, particularly the F-35. It is often presented as an invincible generation-defining weapon that renders all previous aircraft obsolete. This narrative is fueled by its fifth-generation status, a label centered on all-aspect stealth. The core belief is that if an enemy cannot see you, they cannot fight you. While stealth is a massive tactical advantage, it is not a cloak of invisibility, nor is it the only factor in aerial warfare. The myth begins to crumble when you look at evolving detection technologies, low-frequency radars, multi-static radar systems, advanced infrared sensors increasingly capable of detecting or cueing other sensors to stealth aircraft. The American jet monopoly is propped up by the idea of overwhelming technological superiority. The sales pitch implies platforms are light years ahead in every metric. But this isn't always the case. The Gripen-E is equipped with the Meteor Beyond Visual Range missile. The Meteor is ramjet-powered, widely considered the most capable of its kind, outperforming the AMRAAM in range and endgame maneuverability. So a 4.5-generation Gripen firing a Meteor can threaten a 5th-generation fighter from distances where stealth matters less. Another cornerstone is interoperability, the argument that buying American jets is the only way to integrate with NATO and US forces. While same hardware helps, it's an oversimplification. Modern interoperability is built on standardized data links. The Gripen-E is fully compliant with these NATO standards. True interoperability is about the network, not just the aircraft. Perhaps no single event exposed the cracks in America's perceived fighter monopoly more than Brazil's FX-2 fighter competition. For years, the contest was widely seen as a three-way race between Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet Dassault, Rafale Saab Gripen. The Super Hornet was heavily favored, backed by the full diplomatic and industrial might of the United States. A U.S. victory seemed all but certain, a testament to the power of political influence in massive arms deals. However, in late 2013, the world was stunned when Brazil announced its decision. They chose the Gripen. It was a bombshell decision that sent shockwaves through the defense industry. The Brazilian government's reasoning was a masterclass in pragmatic long-term strategic thinking. They didn't just buy a fighter, they invested in their own future. A key factor in the Gripen's favor was Saab's unprecedented offer of technology transfer. The deal included the assembly of Gripen-E fighters in Brazil by Embraer. The deal also included the co-development of the two-seat Gripen-F variant. This meant Brazilian engineers and technicians would gain invaluable experience, designing, building, and maintaining a state-of-the-art fighter jet. It was an offer to elevate Brazil's entire domestic aerospace industry, something neither Boeing nor Dassault were willing to match. Cost was, of course, a massive consideration. The Brazilian Air Force had to consider the entire life cycle cost of the aircraft: purchase price, operational expenses, maintenance, and future upgrades. The Gripen-E was presented as a far more affordable solution over its 30 to 40-year service life. For a country with a large territory to patrol and a tight budget, the Gripen's low operational cost meant Brazil could fly more often and keep pilots proficient. They chose a larger, more active fleet over a smaller, more expensive one. This decision was also a powerful statement of strategic independence. The partnership with Sweden, a historically neutral country, offered a more balanced relationship. It set a new precedent for other nations watching from the sidelines. When discussing American fighter jets, the initial sticker price is only the tip of a very large and honestly very expensive iceberg. The true cost of ownership, the life cycle cost, is often downplayed during the sales process, but becomes a brutal reality for the air forces that sign on the dotted line. This hidden price tag includes fuel routine maintenance, major overhauls, software updates, specialized infrastructure. For aircraft like the F-35, these sustainment costs worry the Pentagon. The jet is eye-wateringly expensive to fly and maintain. Much of that cost comes from proprietary technology. The F-35 operates within a closed ecosystem. Maintenance upgrades parts are tightly controlled by the manufacturer and the US government. That control creates strategic and financial dependency. If a critical component needs replacing or a software package needs an urgent update, operators are beholden to program pricing and timelines. Contrast, the Gripen's open architecture philosophy. Advanced jets also demand massive infrastructure investment. You can't park an F-35 in an old F-16 hangar. They need climate-controlled hangars to protect stealth coatings. They need secure, high-bandwidth data links for mission planning and debriefing. The Gripen-E's design prioritizes reliability and ease of maintenance, directly attacking this critical vulnerability. The Gripen-E bombshell and the broader conversation it has ignited signal a fundamental shift in the global fighter jet market. We are moving away from a unipolar moment where a single nation's offerings were seen as the default choice and into a new, multipolar era. This new dawn is characterized by choice, pragmatism, and a more nuanced understanding of what air power truly means in the 21st century. Nations are increasingly confident in defining their own requirements based on their unique geography, threat perceptions and economic realities, rather than simply following the lead of a superpower. They chose the right fighter for each specific user. This increased competition is healthy. It forces manufacturers to be more innovative, more responsive to customer needs, and more competitive on price and long-term support. In this network-centric battle space, a mixed fleet of fighters, each with different strengths, can be more resilient and effective than a homogeneous force of a single type. The future is collaborative. The Gripen-E is not just a fighter jet, it is a harbinger of this new, more complex, and far more interesting future.